We got, is Shinsky's coming, isn't he? No, he was a no. I thought he was a yes. This is it. 10-4. You gonna take that? Okay. We'll start at 6:02. Check out your minutes and see if there's anything we need to change, or if we can take them just as they are.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Treasurer,
Okay.
let's have you.
So I've included the running balance. So as of February 29th, there was a balance of $179,945.75. I've also included our budget versus spend. I have added the items that we approved since the budget was created in the expenditures approved during fiscal year. I've added those. And then I have the category of spend by month. And, in February, it's just 2 items. We had interest of $142.59. And the match, or the Main Street America membership at $150.
Is that what it became? Or that's what it was?
That's
Or that's what we,
the became or was what? I'm sorry.
is that what we voted to pay, or is
That
that what
was-
the bill was?
Both.
Okay.
We voted to pay for it last week or last month,
Yep.
and I paid it.
And that was what it was?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Now, I have a bill, looking to see if this is here. No, so I did receive another bill that, I think that there was a thought that it might have been the same thing, but this is actually, Michigan Downtown Association versus what this one is called, Main Street America. And this one is $125. What I'm not clear is maybe we paid this last year as well. But it's a downtown development authority would be the member. And it's the Michigan Downtown Association, which is different than this other one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
the new one we were not a part of, and I know Paula, when she was here, we had budgeted Michigan Downtown Association, that subscription that it was already occurring, but I guess I don't know if, I'm assuming that you all paid it, or maybe this, I don't know, but I know that that was a subscription you guys already had, because I think that I've received emails from them through my whole phone.
But that's not the one we had last.
No, the one you approved last week was whatever, the $150.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I don't have an actual line item in our budget for memberships or something like that. Maybe we do that going forward, but I think we have to vote on this $125 to pay this membership, because I don't have it on the budget. And I don't have anything that we voted on.
Right. We're gonna spend money, even if it's, what did you say, 125?
125. Yep.
But you
I mean, I
think
think it's in line with what we're
she's saying,
doing,
yeah.
but we just, I couldn't find an approval for this one in particular.
okay, so we'll do that one after we do the.
Okay. Got it. I'll motion to approve the treasurer's report as printed.
A second.
Motion second, all in favor,
Aye.
anyone
Aye.
opposed? Okay, and then we'll do that now.
Okay. So,
Real quick.
I'll just make the motion that we pay the $125 for the Michigan Downtown Association.
I'll second it.
All in favor,
Aye.
anyone opposed? Okay, there.
Michigan Downtown. All right,
Michigan Downtown Association, a membership to that.
Boyd's Landscaping. Our flower arrangement. I don't remember what we did last year, I don't,
Last year we added extra
that's
bulbs.
what I thought. So did we go to the 860, is that what we did? Or did we do more than that? Don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head. I might have the contract in here.
Well, for the season, is it any different than it was? Is that the same?
Keeping 9,000.
So is the one we're talking about here different than the one you passed out?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the one that we have, we just have a budget of $9,000 in there.
Right,
So what did we,
the $3,000 spent.
right, but it was more than that. That was just one of the payments.
yeah, that's one of the payments. Let me look at this.
Maybe the 40%. You know what I mean? That would about add up if there was any little bit of a fight.
It seems like that's the same.
Maybe we added the bulbs and the plants last year, because this says 860 for 20 plants and 164.80 for 100 bulbs. That would bring that close to 9,000, right?
And that's why we budgeted that number.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so if we don't add or do anything, we are at 78,6405
Mhm.
just for our regular.
Maybe looking at what we spent last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what we
Yeah.
spent last year. Actually, I wasn't quite prepared for that question.
I
Sorry,
think,
I don't have it handy. I mean,
that's
I
okay,
could look it up and
it's
we could
okay.
talk about it next. Oh, here, actually, let's see. Is this 2023? Okay, so last year, I have last year's
Okay.
contact. So last year, we did,
What was the contract price, period, first? Doesn't have to sound.
Total for this season.
doesn't have the total.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did 2 bags of bulbs at 160 each. Yeah, so maybe it was a different price.
See right there.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, no, but that's the total for the season, but that doesn't include the extra stuff.
Right.
That's okay.
Yep, so
Yeah,
that's okay.
$7,635.
That's what you're looking for.
$7,635.
Okay, so it went up
So it
200 and
went up
some
a little
bucks.
bit, yep,
Okay,
and the bulbs went up $4 for 100. Yeah, thanks. It's been a long day.
Yes.
Um,
I was looking at this and going,
Yeah.
it looks
it
identical.
Yeah, I just didn't see it. I kept looking at it.
okay, so the basic price, the season total, if we don't do anything, is within a couple $100 of what it was last
Yes,
year.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
And then if we
And-
want to do something
Yep.
more, it's just more anyway.
And last year we chose to do 20 extra plants and 2 extra bags of bulk, 2 bags of bulbs.
which then was 160 bulbs per bag
Right,
versus 100.
yes,
And it appears from the treasurer's report, we've only paid 40% of that
yes.
from last.
No, we
No.
should pay all of it.
Our first payment would be
Well,
40%.
so the way
The
the
way the
fiscal
timing
year,
is,
is
okay.
so way the fiscal year, Boyd is broken up between partially, yeah, he's
In
in
2
two different,
years.
yeah.
But it's in the same year. It's
Right.
Two fiscal years, one's
Yeah, right, exactly.
One is due now, one is due on
Yeah.
6/15, this
So-
was 6/30.
Yeah.
So what's in there are the last two payments of last
Gotcha.
season, but in this fiscal year.
Wow.
This is what I said, if we did extra last year, how about if we don't do extra this year and then maybe again, look at it next year?
I'm in agreement.
Then
so
that
that-
way,
We can
every
see what
other year,
happens.
right,
Yeah,
and if it did make an increase.
We-
We should be able to see it this
think
year
we've
more
done-
than once.
I think we've done the extra plants, at least the extra plants 2 years in a row and the bulbs 2 years in a row.
That's what I thought too. So let's take the year off, we'll just stick with the season,
The season of the 7,864.05. Yeah.
so let's just give me a motion to
I'll make
accept Boyd's bid
make a
as,
motion to pay the total for the season, $7,864.05. With no additional add-ons.
in a second.
I'll second it.
So we're basically just accepting his contract
Yes,
as it's
Should we-
written.
as written,
Okay.
without the extras.
Have we had any complaints, concerns?
No,
I mean, not that I've heard, so, yeah.
and usually that's a huge.
Yeah, no, mhm.
I just
we
have
haven't
one
tried to
thing.
get so-
What's that?
We did pull out a bushes on the corner in front of Tiffany's. And he planted that full of bulbs, but that is the only thing I believe that is planted in that bump out right on the corner there. So I don't know if we could get with him just to get something put in there that wouldn't be $800 worth of something, but I'm pretty sure those tulips are gonna go down and we're not gonna see anything else on that corner.
I guess I'll still.
That
We'll wait and see what it looks like
Okay,
and then produce from there.
alright.
So how would that? This is a maintenance for. It's not very well spelled out, certain number of flower beds. Or areas, right? I mean, would that be considered part of the,
All planting beds, it
all
says,
planting beds, right? Well, yeah,
Maintenance, I don't think that's replacing plants.
right,
true, okay.
'Cause
Well, that was it, just it. He took it upon himself to fill that full of bulbs. She was gonna plant that with facade money this spring and those bulbs came up, so.
so good, they come up, and at least we
Well,
didn't,
right, so I mean, he took it upon himself, that one got removed and he took it upon himself to include that in the area. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that.
okay,
So good thing on his part.
Yes,
Yep, perfect, thank you.
so all in favor,
I,
anyone opposed? You,
I'll have a copy made of it.
yeah, okay. I'll just let Boyd know and he can
He
stop
needs to
down
stop
here,
down here and pay it,
And-
or sign it.
sign
Yeah,
it.
And I'll leave a check.
You wanna go? Lou?
Sure.
Yeah.
The next thing on the agenda is the, Main Street scorecard. This may look a little bit familiar, because I think parts of it were in the Main Street training presentation that we did, and we briefly touched on it. But Lee, who I've been working with at the MEDC, she's a Main Street specialist there, is going to attend next month's meeting to go over the scorecard, or the answers to the scorecard, rather, and, try to establish and talk about some next steps within our Main Street journey and just like in general. So she asked if we could at this meeting, everyone take a minute to fill out independently their own scorecard, because she wants to get collect everyone's individual, opinions about it, so we can go over it next month. So I'm not sure, Mark, if you want folks to take it home or just take a second to fill it out at the end of the meeting, or I don't think it'll take very long. I think it's a few pages, but you're just going through reading the statement and trying to gauge where Laingsburg is at, whether they're starting that performance measure. It's in the works, or we're, doing great at it.
Let's do it let's do it at the end, and if we don't think we can,
And I think they're all the color pages. Cassie tried to make them colored so it was easily.
each page has a front and a back. So there's 8 pages to do. But you have to read each one and vote. Whatever you think.
I read slow.
Let's do that at the end.
Okay, and then the next one is a communication plan update. So the month of March was the first month that we did the calendar that we created to try to stay up to date on our communication plan that we submitted for Main Street. So Aaron put up the flyers last month. The only thing that needs to be done this month is also put up the new flyers. So if anyone is interested in that, but other updates, I just briefly went over the agenda items that I thought were relevant to the DDA that went to city council. So Jen was granted 12 years of tax abatement on her new building. Her land use and Rich Hafner's, who's opening Cinders back up, but as the Breakaway Bar and Grill, they were both passed. We made amendments to the zoning ordinance for RRC to follow their best practices. So moving forward, all commercial buildings will need to have a front facing doorway, and townhouses were moved from special land use to by right, and walk-up windows are allowed in commercial buildings. So kind of like PVPs. And then the mural project is still chugging away. They approved the artist last month, but new sketches will be brought to them this month. Like I said, for the flyers, Aaron posted them downtown, I saw, and we posted them on the city's social media. The QR code attached has about 15 responses so far, and this month's flyer is different theme, but has the same QR code, so I'm hoping to get some more responses. And then for website/social media, I've been looking into and working with Shoemaker, who does the city's website, and looking at how the DDA can better market the downtown, whether that be on the city's website or an independent website. So I've been collecting a lot of information for that to see about different options moving forward for that. And then I attended the Main Street workshop in Lapeer. And it was interesting. They talked a lot about planning and having good like master plans and economic development plans for our downtowns, which I think we were pretty good at staying up to date because we are already an RRC community. So I guess the last thing for that is someone wants to hang up the pretty springtime flyers in downtown that I made.
Do we have like a, or maybe we could evolve like a list of places where we've hung them before, so maybe we get continuing permission just to go and without having to bug somebody.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can ask Budnick maybe who he hit up. I know I don't have one.
I can take one. I got the other one.
Oh, perfect. I'll give one to Doggy for she leaves.
Do they need to go in other locations?
Yeah, there's, I think 5 or 6, so, but I will give one to Dawn to hang her salon. If someone wants to take the rest to do it, I can't remember where Aaron hung them all. I saw it in Dawn's building. I went to chat with her a couple of times this month, but.
I'll take them.
All right.
Ma'am.
All right. That's all for the communication update.
Do you wanna do the match on mains? Can we lay them out? for
Yes.
How many there is, and then who they are? And then, so is there 7 of those or 6 of those?
The match on Main, there's 4.
Or 4, I'm
The facade has 7.
7.
Yeah. Yes, I would be happy to make them.
So what we're gonna do is. There's 4 match on mains, but there can only be 2.
Correct.
So we have to vote. On what 2 would apply. For the match on main.
And these are the ones that go back to the county, right, or to. If the match on Main is the ones that go back to
The state, yeah.
the state, okay,
Yep, so you'll vote on 2 and I'll submit like a formal application using what the business owners submitted and then they'll make the final decision if someone in Laingsburg gets it or not. So, Jen West applied for Match on Main. She applied for specifically the dance floor. So she applied for just the dance floors. As many of you know, she is remodeling the Klotz building and she's been working more towards getting more funding to match the RAC grant, which she got $600,000 for, so she has to come up with that money to match it. So she will be applying for specifically the dance flooring for the match on Main. The Jelinix applied through the clothesline and they're looking for flooring as well, some storage units and tubs, and then installation in their building. Tiffany is applying for some new Pilates equipment to replace her air conditioner that's old, and then she has a big desk in there right now that I think is too big for her space, so she plans on removing that to increase the amount of people that can be in there doing the Pilates classes and replacing it with just a smaller desk. And then Dawn is applying for salon equipment, flooring, painting, and trim. And she also has additional private investments, so she is doing some exterior work for the building that doesn't fall under the match on Main eligibility because it needs to be placemaking if it's outside, but there needs to be some wall and roof repair, so that's additional private investment that she's putting into the building outside of the 10% that match on Main requires. And at the end, I'm not sure if everyone has gotten to, there's a lot of pages of everyone's application. There's a scoring matrix that just goes over if like what folks hit. All of the applications were eligible, all of them were submitted on time. They're all within the boundaries that they need to be within like our traditional downtown, and their projects were all really inside renovation, which is eligible under the match on Main.
Can you tell me what pages are in this one?
Or
121. Thank you, one.
I just, I was like,
I don't have a ways to go.
okay, so did I. I thought I missed it. Thank you.
So for. When you said that everyone, is eligible.
Yep.
Meaning, so the clothesline is a nonprofit company, but that is also eligible. Okay.
yes, yep.
So there aren't any technicalities that we can eliminate. So,
It doesn't sound.
I mean, that's what,
Yeah.
Right. That's why I was just interested in
Yeah.
if that was,
And everyone has proven that they can front the money themselves?
Yes, everyone
Because it's a
indicated
reimbursement.
they could do
Okay.
the,
Yeah, we don't have anybody asking for help on top of that.
No.
In a loan or whatever.
yeah, all of them indicated they can do the 10% match and everyone can say, yes, it's a reimbursement grant, so you pay and then get the money back.
So out of the four, we have to pick two.
Two. Which is easier than one? Have we ever had this many at one time? Because we had two, but one didn't qualify that I remember. So that was simple.
I'm not sure if we have.
I was gonna say.
I think we only had the most to apply at the same time
Right.
that actually.
And
even
when is the
applied.
next, when is the next match on the?
I think they do summer, so I think this is technically the summer one, and then they do a winter one. But they
So
just,
twice a year.
yeah, twice a year. They just changed like the funding source and because it was supposed to be done a couple months back, but they pushed it because so I think that they're still doing it twice a year, to my understanding.
And with this cycle, when do they have to be completed?
They weren't specific when, so I have to submit them to the state by April 17th. They, pick businesses and send out contracts. It just said summer of 2024, and then it's 6 months after the contract is
So
signed.
by the end of the year.
No.
So yeah, it should be done within 2024, yeah.
Right, maybe a silly question. Why do we have to make a decision? Why don't we send them all forward to the state and let them?
You can only
We,
put forward
as Laingsburg
two.
can only forward.
We can put forward two, and these are sub applicants of the city, of the city of Laingsburg.
Okay,
So, and the city of Laingsburg can only,
Yep.
each organization can only do two. But you can do two in every cycle.
Right,
Yes,
So whoever isn't in this cycle could be in the next cycle,
right.
if that's
Just turn around, yeah.
great. Woo.
But it's up to the DDA to make the decision on the two that we.
I feel like
we
it is worth considering moving the two businesses that are open and serving people currently.
I agree.
And then these people who are in the process of getting up and going and
What one do you, so Jen would be
We
the
have-
one that's getting up and going.
well, yeah,
What's the other one?
I feel like we have the hair place up and running, already serving people here, is only gonna improve that. And we have the yoga place up and running, serving people, already in the flow. That is my thought process.
What's the other one?
The yoga place.
The wellness
So I'm
response.
not
Okay.
using their full names, but I'm
All right.
just
Wellness.
saying, we know these two places are operating and serving
Currently
the community. Correct. That's my
I
thought
think the
process.
clothesline is.
Oh, and maybe so, I guess I
I
was
don't-
assuming this was connections.
Well, Connections is not, clothesline is, two separate
Oh,
businesses.
Okay,
Yeah,
And
so
Same,
So this-
same area,
You know
same
what, I automatically
building,
thought.
but
I did too.
Connections.
yeah.
that's
That
why I
was
couldn't
my bad.
do it
Okay,
too
yeah,
together
yeah,
because
I
they're-
immediately thought
I
connections.
tried to make piles
They're
of
separate, that's
applications,
all.
but, I can't find the front page to the,
Clothesline is only open,
to
is
this
it,
one. That's why,
is it right, one day a week,
I don't know the schedules.
is it two?
I think.
Thought it was
I-
up there.
Wednesdays
Maybe
and
just-
Saturdays, I think, when the weather gets nice, I think it's back to Wednesdays. I think, it's got it, I think,
She'll be open on Wednesdays when farmers market reopens.
yeah, it always seems like when the weather shapes up, or they're back open. What confuses me about this is that I was always told in the past that they didn't have heat, but they have air conditioning. That's fine.
Who?
The clothesline.
No idea.
I don't know.
They didn't have a bathroom because they didn't have a well. And they didn't have heat because they didn't have a furnace, but this is an air conditioner.
But it does say on there, if you read that, what it says, where the air conditioning piece was. something about the heat and air in it. It was to be looked at. The way I understood it. Be inspected by somebody else, I guess.
The inspector should inspect.
That's what I'm saying, yeah, I didn't really understand. Yeah,
Oh. It's saying exactly that.
right,
And they should be inspected to determine if exactly which buildings the compressor is serving. So,
for air, but it doesn't say about heat. But it says the above apparatus above the furnace was manufactured in 1996. To which building, I don't know. And you need the evaporator because that's what runs the air conditioning, but you don't need it for running the heat. Yeah, you got me lost completely. Not that this would skew, I guess, what you're thinking either, but there also, how many of these who applied for this also applied for the DDA
I believe all.
beside?
I think so
Okay,
too.
so 4 out of 4 are also applying where you're,
Phase forward.
yeah,
Currently
yeah.
and previously.
I don't know about previously, but I can tell you previously whether or not they received it, not
Mhm.
whether or not they applied and didn't get it. I can tell you who did get it.
Mhm.
So that doesn't weigh one way or another either because
It
they're all for.
Cause this,
I was
cause
just
phase
trying to think of
forward
a
is
simple way.
guaranteed. This is, the other is not guaranteed. I mean, it's only that we approve that we would move
We are
forward.
merely sending it off to someone else
Yeah.
who does all the approval.
Right,
All, that's all we're doing is suggesting these
Right.
2 people to go over there to try it.
I-
We don't have anything to do with whether or not they succeed.
no, I
These
think,
others are not guaranteed either. We can turn them all down.
no, but I mean, if we vote yes to these, it's guaranteed money to them. If we vote yes to the match on Main,
Question.
it's questionable. I feel like we have to treat them separately, even if they're the same people, myself.
No,
And they are, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
it's different when we talk about more face forward. Then we talk about it
Well-
all as one.
Phase forward, we're paying for. and
Well, right,
which
when
I
we talk
mean,
about face forward and you are looking at 5 applications and someone's gotten it 3 times.
Yeah.
It's an easy to make that decision. This is we.
And again, we're not making the decision of whether or not they get the money.
No.
We're just making a decision on whether or not they can apply to it.
Correct.
And as she said, whichever one maybe we don't send over there or 2, the other 2 can turn around and do it again in the fall.
In my mind, people that are here get a lot of points.
It's up to you guys.
And I kind of like the idea of supporting the newer, younger
That would be,
census too.
so we're thinking these 2, but you're thinking of the, it would be Dawn,
Mhm.
Dawn's new
And
business,
reform.
and then the one on the corner.
Mhm. I mean, I don't think that there is a totally. They all are great ideas. I don't know where we make if it's one person making a choice and setting up sort of these like a point system. Okay, you're newer and you're serving people, you're open, you're running it, okay, point. I mean, like generally you might have like a little sheet to sort of score it.
Uh-huh.
To make it simpler and sort of narrow it down, but.
Can we say we're gonna pick these 2? And in the next round, we will approve the other 2? Is that valid to do? I mean.
But what
I
if
think
someone
if
comes
they
up-
don't, if
they-
Jen
if they
gets
want-
money somewhere else and says we're not coming, then we've
Yeah,
eliminated
yeah,
someone else.
If they do apply the next time, right? But we could have potentially approve these two, have the other two, and get other people applying for the.
You could
rancher.
for
You
something
could.
that
And
you
if they
want.
don't get it, they can
more.
reapply too.
Right.
I think
I
that
think we lock us, I don't
Well,
think we
I
can
think that
lock
was it.
ourselves into the next two.
I was asking, yeah, so,
maybe is,
Cause if these,
Too many.
so let's say whatever two we put forward and they are denied.
Mhm.
They also, there's nothing against them reapplying
Right.
either,
Yeah.
so, I mean, we may decide to send the same two, I
Again,
don't know that I would wanna be locked in for the next one by
Yeah.
voting on it now, personally.
agreed.
you wanna put this in a motion, these two?
Make a motion that we send DJ Hair Design and Reform Wellness Main Street applications on.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to send those two on. All in favor? Anyone opposed? There, those are the two that are going. Try. And again. We're not in control of whether you get it, but
Yeah.
if you don't get it. This is
Come back.
what she just said,
Just change the dates on your app.
you reapply and try again.
Hold
Not
it a
saying
little bit.
if these other people can't reapply also,
Yep.
all we're doing is sending them along.
We appreciate it though.
Uh. Move on, dude. Let's do this real quick. Dave got a price from one company, Boyd. I don't know if you guys know,
Yes,
Yeah.
for the wall that he had talked about last month. And we told him to try to get somebody to give us an opinion on what to do there. And it sounded to me, if I got this right or not, but it sounded like he was going from the new sidewalk that we put in, where the sign is.
It'll, yeah, taper down.
Okay, it'll taper and it will go to, Mrs. Pratt's property. It'll go to that second tree or the steps.
To the
It'll go to the steps. So it won't go, when we discussed before, we had discussed to go all the way to the other corner,
Correct,
to the, what is it, Railroad Street?
yes,
Railroad
that would have required revamping of the stairs, the wall, So I said, let's just price it to what we're trying to fix right now.
So I don't know if you wanna maybe take care of this or get another, let's see if we can't get another bid. It's considerable amount of money. I mean, it's 16 grand.
You tell me where this is.
that's what I'm trying to understand for this map.
It's right out the end of
Across from the old.
Jeff's building,
The blue house.
Right across, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's right across the
Right.
road from the other wall.
from the other wall,
Got
from the
it.
bank, used to be the bank. But it would be from their steps to the east, over to where the sidewalk is that we put in. To get back to the back parking lot,
What steps?
The steps to the
the
house.
steps to her house.
Okay,
I think we table this, and let him try to get another bid, one, and two, you guys all take a look. So that you kind of get
Yeah,
clued in on what it is.
so this is on city property.
Yep.
Okay,
so it's across the street from the.
Pharmacy.
The pharmacy.
Mhm, and
Basically.
The house across the street, there's stairs going up.
If you were going that crosswalk and go
Yeah.
straight across,
Okay.
it would be everything to your left of that, basically. If that crosswalk went right up their steps into their house.
Yeah,
There's
there's that
two
tree.
trees there.
There's one tree there.
There's one tree there and it has a rock,
Yeah,
half moon.
And isn't it
There.
kind of pushing out?
It's all
yeah, that
screwed
tree
up.
would have to come out and then we'd have to landscape and put a new tree in.
And like I said, we originally had talked about doing that whole thing. The whole. From there down to Railroad Street, so it'll taper back down again because the property tapers down in the dirt. And so the sidewalk goes with it. But right there where the steps are and the house is and the tree is, it's 2.5 feet tall probably,
Correct.
maybe
And-
3-ish. feet
And it
tall.
would have to require them steps to come out, sidewalk to the house.
And it has to be held back and
Everything will have to be tapered back.
Exactly.
and-
kind of like they did across from the town tub down there. where they replaced that piece, just like that. And that's what, we can't get the same exact brick to match what he had put in there years ago that goes into the pharmacy. But he would try to get the best color, or anyone would that we would hire, try to get the best color to match. And like they did down there.
Right.
They got kind of the similar color. But
And
it's something that we don't need to do immediately. It's been that way for quite a while.
I agree with you. Let's
Put it in your head,
three quotes.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't, figure something out there, but it's
Which-
nothing that needs to be done.
Which is what I was working on, but so far he was the only one that got back with me, so.
The other one was what, the project would be, what, Mr. Dyer brought up last month about the sidewalk down here. These guys bid it,
Oh, I see.
and then they also bid down in front of Rosemary's property and Dawn's property, and does that go around the corner then or not?
What?
This sidewalk at the, down below the hill.
It starts at Roosevelt Road, goes down Grand River and then up to.
Street, or up to Lang, I mean.
Yeah.
So it does do the whole corner?
Yes,
Okay,
and that's putting that's 4 ADA ramps that aren't there now and with the grid plate in it, because none of them on S P have the grid plate.
so they're gonna cut the curb and do whatever also, okay. So
Okay,
they,
so this includes both of those projects?
if you put it together, they're both bid separately, so one was 8,352. The other one is 22,237. Am I doing that correct, Dave?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I will say, I guess my opinion on this is that when people turn in their applications and things like that, we've sent them back for not enough bids. I feel like we have to do, I realize it's the tail end, but I feel like we have to do our due diligence to get more bids.
You got one.
Right,
That's what I'm
exactly.
working
That's
on.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm just giving this so you
Yeah.
guys have a heads up. on it.
Yeah, I appreciate
But
that. I
trust me,
appreciate
right
that.
now, concrete work is hard to get
Yeah,
bids on, so.
I understand. I understand, which it's good for us to know the price range that we're looking at least now with the one. But I'm with you, we should table it because we would require more of somebody else giving us applications.
I agree.
The 22,000 is down the bottom of the hill, around the corner. Where is the 8,000?
It's down here by the, or the,
Oh,
I call it tennis courts, right down below the hill. Off of,
In McClintock Park?
no,
Right across from Potter's old house,
Okay.
from the walk path to Doyle Road.
High
Got it.
Street, yeah, up.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There's that little half circle
Yeah.
at the end of the,
Yeah.
goes around the.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which are showing it's 112 feet. And there's a ramp, they put a ramp there too.
Yeah, that one has a ramp, but in order to tie that other sidewalk in, we would have to redo the ramp to stay at 2% slope.
The 88. Again, Richard had just brought this one up because he's the one that
Yep.
had noticed that, and
Mhm.
the only thing about that is that still in our district?
According to your guys' maps and stuff he was looking at, yes.
It's supposed to be.
I thought we
That,
determined it was, but no,
I believe McClintock Park was.
this is on the
Whole
other
park
side.
is in the district.
It's part of, isn't it part of McClintock? I mean,
say again, Gazzy.
The whole park is in the district.
Okay, so it's in our district, we're thinking. Okay, so that's not a question. So I guess, same with that one. We'll try to get at least a couple more bids.
Yep.
And then we'll move on for those two for next month. It's nothing that we need to do immediately. It's,
Right, and I had other bids coming, they just haven't been out. there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
okay, that takes care of that.
I see that you have a summary of it. Okay, yeah.
Face forward,
I was having, we don't have receipts or quotes, but she has this beautiful summary for us.
What page are you?
The summary's on 131.
Oh,
The very last page.
How many of these can we do? Are we limited or are we
We're limited by budget.
like budget?
$4
Okay, that was what I
or-
was- yeah.
We're limited by budget.
So I don't have. Cassie, I don't have Butnick's application out here. I have Leonard,
He's on the back, he's on, 126.
got it, never mind. Ah, there's 6 of them,
Plus, remember, you have all of them.
4, 5,
should be
6.
Yeah.
There should be 7, I think. Wait, 1.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7?
7, there's 7.
Yeah, same thing.
So Tiffany is the first one on page 124.
So we have, let me just recap, we have 15,000 we budgeted for, right?
Correct.
Yes, 15,000 that we budgeted.
And we carried over 12,400 from our old budget,
We did,
and we had only spent 6,000 of that.
right, but we
Because some
carried
was
that
pending.
forward because.
There was work like pending or
Yes,
something, right?
and. I don't have the names, but obviously somebody has not turned.
So there's
in
more.
their- Yeah, like we voted approved.
Yeah,
did the
I remember
thing,
that.
And
remember- okay.
either it came in less. Or they haven't turned it in.
Yeah, I felt like there. it was
And, but
undone.
I don't, but that, we did not say we were gonna spend that money in this fiscal year, so I would, other than.
What
those
we had
applications-
already agreed
Right,
to.
right.
We didn't decide like a capital improvement
Right,
plan. We
so
didn't decide to bring.
For this year's budget, we have $15,000.
Yeah.
Anything above that, we'd have to vote to
Extra.
increase it.
Mhm. Okay,
And again, you can pick and choose, you can try to do them all, you can choose. $1,000, I mean, you can do it all different ways. Or you can refuse. Any or all.
So, maybe I'm missing. Where does it say what they're doing? We have that here somewhere?
So I have their application forms in here. And
We usually. get a couple.
Do we-
yeah, validation.
So I'm looking at Leonard's just because that's the one, but I don't know. He wants to do 11,720 something,
which is,
but I don't know what it's for. I don't know what
We
he's
tried
wanting.
to do it all just in the chart, so we had to print less things, so
Okay,
on the, so the plans include painting and repair for Leonard's. And so he had painting, roof repair and sign repair on his application. Which is included in the chart.
So, but for Leonard's, painting and repairs, but no bids for the roof repair, no bids for the sign repair, so.
correct, so if you just take what she has here. Which was the bids for the painting. If we were to take, if he was to hire the. 6,500 is what the number is on here, and we were to give him the 6,500 to have it painted. We would be paying 4,550. That'd be 75% of his
Right.
bill. The roof repair, I don't think we can do anyway,
right.
okay, because it's roof repair, so it's not. One, I'm pretty positive that we voted to not do roofs,
Correct.
because that turned into a little bit of a fiasco. And then the sign, he doesn't have any estimates for that. So just say the painting, that if he hires the 6,500, which is the cheaper of the two. 4,550 would be what he would. Yeah. Brian Reed. I hope I understand this correctly. They're the ones on the corner that put, they got the fence,
Oh, yeah.
okay? Reed, we have given them, $3,542.31. And that was for the fence. And that would be on the corner of West Street
Mhm.
and Grand River. So across from Culpepper's there, that first one that Mr. Getchy redid, and then he sold it to them.
Mhm.
Take very good care of that property, and it looks nice.
So this is for
But-
driveway?
But this is for a driveway, which is it is tough because it would improve the look of the ground and the where he's parking and where they're parking now, because they kind of park off the street on the sidewalk. But I think you're maybe splitting hairs if you're trying to, I mean, he's taking pictures of where they park, which is right there on that corner. And he's looking to try to get some help with the concrete slab that would go there.
The slab would also protect the sidewalk from the gravel also.
But I don't really know, is that a slab of concrete for your driveway? Or I don't know how you. I mean, it is a building that is in the district that pays taxes. So they pay taxes, but it's not on their residence. It's not a shed, it's not a garage, and it's not the house. We did give for landscaping, we give the business, the business downtown $5,000 to do their landscaping out front. And it did make it look a lot nicer than what it did previous, but it was landscaping. It was not a concrete pad.
I
Is
think
that, does the DDA, does it go west of West Street? Or
West Street's fell out.
Well, we already give them for the fence, which is west of the West Street. I think it goes down,
Like
it goes
one or two houses.
correct to the last house there on that side of the street.
So let's say we just tabled that idea for a second because they've already received one. And if that were our only application and we had a bunch of unspent, then maybe we would think about that. But there's so many more.
Okay,
Well, somebody's gonna have to go through each one of these and tell me what they're
I mean, they're front to back.
wanting to do.
so small things.
Okay.
Is Jen again.
Yep.
And that was to basically,
There's a lot of front doors happening. I think Jen's was front doors and to replace the really big windows in the front of her building. So her quotes were high because I think the windows were a huge expense. Tiffany's he's refurbishing her doors, so she's taking off the existing door, getting it fixed and whatnot, and then replaced. Budnick was, I think, replacing both doors on his two storefronts that he owns.
replace both front doors on 106 and 108 from both sides that utilize expansion of my farmer's insurance office, and improve the overall look of the building that everyone sees coming into town on Grand River in the west. That's Buckner.
John was taking down the existing shed that's behind her building, replacing it, and also making a walkway or sidewalk to the back door to help with accessibility to the folks in wheelchairs and walkers and whatnot from Roosevelt Road. The Jelenics was to do work on the back of their building that include masonry work and electrical work. And then Leonard's, if you just look at what he had the two bids for, it was painting and repairing the exterior of this building. And then Reed, he went over for the driveway.
And Jelenic, we still haven't received what we had asked Tom to bring us from the last time, correct?
4 months ago.
Yeah, he still just has one bid for the masonry work and one bid for the abutment.
Which I think is what that was.
And no property taxes is incurred there.
Well, they brought that same application for, well, they brought an application forward with single bids before, and we asked them, we actually said contingent on that he could apply outside of cycle if he brought those in.
We got nothing. He has received 6,500.
Today,
Today.
because that was one of the questions I think that we had before.
And we have not received any more bids.
Okay,
What has Budnick gotten? Cassie, do you know a closer brief?
Mark has the list.
He has all of his.
But
Yeah.
Nick has received $33,640.
Oh, I'm sorry.
DG. Think we did something with the awning
Yes,
a
Dawn,
little bit.
and we did that one as a straight, we just
I think
paid it.
so, because it was
Yep.
smaller amount.
Dawn, 742.
The fence on West Street. Or I guess it's East Grand.
That was the
3542.
3542. Read.
Oh, shoot.
How does this? If we do this, how does this affect Tiffany's door?
Is it what?
The sidewalk go down around,
The sidewalks in the front of the buildings will stay the same. There's
Okay.
not enough room there to do the ADA slopes without cutting into the road.
So she's gonna have to deal with what is there now.
right,
Or
Because
but it won't affect, because you said she wants to do a new door, that we won't.
that
She
was
just
a big,
refinishing.
she just
her door,
refinished her
taking it
door,
off and-
basically.
and that was
heavy
the big
strips
push
or
when I was
whatever.
looking at, because all of them on Crum Street have that same lip on them, and we would literally lose every parking spot on Crum Street in order to get that wide enough to ADA.
I think we also, paid for the painting or some portion for Tiffany as well.
Right.
We did,
Yeah,
we helped her paint her building.
yeah, Tiffany's today has received,
2,600.
Yep.
Okay.
But she's not asking for 5,000.
No,
No,
just that-
yeah, no, I'm
She's-
just saying.
Her
since we're-
total project is 950.
Yeah.
And so she's asking for 665.
Yep.
$665.
And we've never had one from Leonard.
Tim, we've had one
Oh.
years ago,
Leonard, 5,000.
5,000, and that was in,
Yeah, well,
20.
Can you tell me, because this particular one doesn't break it down. Can you tell me on Leonard's project, what it would be for us?
4550.
3550. And what about Reed?
Reed was the concrete,
Yeah,
that's 5,000.
this says the total project budget is $5,472.
Well, his total is 9879.
Oh, something doesn't match up.
Okay, wait a minute, or is this the wrong one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
okay.
That is the wrong one.
It would
Okay.
be like, yeah, because the total project is about 5,400 and they would be paying 1,600. So ish. So how much is that?
What did I do with that one? I lost.
So that you would be
Okay, Reed Baker.
getting or giving $3,830.40
There you go,
for the driveway
for the driveway.
project. Yeah.
His was 5472.
Yep.
Is the total.
And have we given to Jen before?
He's not a taxpayer in town. Never has been. She didn't own any property.
Okay, okay. 'Cause I told her, I said, "Well, I don't know if we can give it to her, but I don't know if we can give it to her." Okay, okay.
Okay, Reed Baker.
Okay. Okay.
She was in the district. We did give it to Landport.
Oh,
To paint that, right, wasn't it? Coming in?
Landport has gotten, 17,935. He hasn't gotten anything since 2017. No, I'm reading that wrong.
No, that's right, 2000.
Is it? Yeah, 2017. And then 2013, 2012, and then 2008. And its inception when it started.
But in all fairness, that isn't really gonna change with Jen anyway, right? Because she has a 12-year tax abatement.
Well, there's a way to, you have to explain that correctly.
I understand that you can get an abatement on the current value of the property, right? But then you still, is that how hers works?
She will continue to pay the taxes as they are today.
Correct.
The-
She won't pay on her improvement.
She won't pay on.
Correct.
I understand that.
She'll actually pay not as what it's at today. She'll pay the increase of whatever
Yes.
she paid for the
After she
building,
buys it.
because she's already bought
Because
it,
it's
so
proposal X,
it's, yeah, it's 2,000,
Whatever the value is.
correct.
Mhm.
I
But she
understand.
won't pay on any of the, so if you just.
She's not gonna pay on an improvement. So if she built
Correct.
a hotel
Right.
there and
Correct,
it was worth millions, she's still only gonna pay based off what her taxable value was at the time she
Yeah.
bought it, based on what she purchased it. for.
But there are things built in.
I
that She
understand.
couldn't do that. I mean, just
I
putting
understand.
it out there.
And we have until June 30th on this amount, then we're talking another chunk, right?
no, if,
15,000 is to our June 30, is that?
Yeah, but when we approve the next one, we're approving it for this same cycle, so we will approve it in July, what our next chunk is, but we won't be voting on those until March,
the following year.
Okay.
following year, next year, March.
Well, I would say the concrete's probably not a face forward.
I agree.
I mean. They could be talked off that, but since we're down to,
It'd be hard to say that it beautified
right,
the downtown
right,
in our district.
yes.
It would beautify it. In
Right.
reality, if you went down and looked at it where the parking and how the sidewalk is, and if there was a nice pad there, great.
Yeah.
But
Right, right.
So I wanna say something about Glampas. That that's not just about beautifying, that is. About utility and safety for the customers.
I like that one too.
And they're parking on Roosevelt Row a lot, I know we compete for parking out there and it's just gonna get worse. Really, of the competing for parking, and so her people, and I don't know if we want her to talk about it, but. I know that her people who have, her handicap accessibility. Is in her back door. Which is really just these landscape blocks.
Yeah, it's very regular.
Yeah.
They've settled. And so if I'm not a caregiver, I do your hair and I'll help you in. But I was helping, one of my clients' husbands who's 92. Get her through the door. I'm in the front of her and there's a lip there and it's not safe. I also, in the application, I asked for an extension of my front step because that's also not safe. The step kind of is it on there? I think it's on there.
We
I
don't
have
have
a
it.
bid for both, yeah. But anyway, I do have a portable wheelchair ramp that I can put up there. And some of my clients that have it works. It's just that it does, and they're embarrassed. They want to walk in, they want to go in the back because it takes them a second to get up the steps with the walkers and things like that. So that I need to have you come out, I think, Dave, right? I need you to come out and see how far out. I was showing you, I think, Rose, like how far out I want that stop in the front to kind of help with clients. But the back is the biggest issue.
So the deal with the back is that Jen is talking about making a lot of changes back there. And we talked about how we could incorporate you guys
Mine, but
with
hers is.
hers. I get it, I get it.
Spot.
Yeah, mine's
Yeah.
separate.
Hers
like-
is,
Yeah.
hers,
Is
I
it?
don't think it
Okay.
would incorporate hers because hers is really on her own property.
Okay.
Right back there, that goes right
Yep.
to her back door,
Yeah,
and runs right next to her building. I don't think, like, if Jen is incorporating something, they're probably coming, from like towards the car wash back in. And that's just gonna be a longer distance than, especially for her handicap accessible
Well,
spot. I don't-
but
I
Jen
don't
was
know.
asking for assistance with that, and maybe if we were going to provide assistance, we could change it so it benefits. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's probably too early to know exactly what's.
Probably.
gonna,
I'm
you
thinking
know,
with Jen.
There's no way the two would be able, Jen's sidewalk would not help Dawn.
Okay,
yeah.
They're
Right.
20 feet apart, I think.
Good for me. And that's the reason for the, yeah. That's the most important.
So are you're gonna try to make. You're gonna try to make your back door. So that you could get a chair in there
Yeah. I do-
versus trying to do it in the front door.
Correct. I do both right now, but the back would be the most safe. Because they're not going up a lip. I'm not having to hold the portable ramp up. You know, it's a liability for myself as well on the front. So I prefer them through the back, but that's getting worse as the weather is getting
Is your
worse.
back door 3 foot wide?
It's 36 inches and that is as wide as it has to be, but we're gonna be getting the wall done. We're doing the roof. I'm repairing, we're taking out walls on the inside to open that up back there. So that the wheelchair, and I wanna do at least a 38 inch door for the wheelchair. And I also wanna have that all open, so it's easy to take them through the front or through the back.
Which is where you currently do now.
That's what I'm
Mostly,
doing
right.
now, and it's very, very sketchy because it's, yes, it's, I can't believe, I didn't know that 36 inches was the standard for wheelchair accessible. I want it wider. So we're gonna do that. But I just need I need from their car, because they have to go up, all my wheelchair clients have to go up to the curb. The curb up there in the front that you guys are replacing, I hope that is what we were talking about, I think you guys were talking.
Potentially.
Potentially. And then they have to come up and around and they go around to the back of the back door.
And that's where Jen's thing might come in, where, that might be a closer handicap accessible where that sidewalk is.
right.
But
Oh, for
then,
sure.
but then that sidewalk itself isn't gonna be the closest
Isn't gonna
thing.
be,
there.
right, right,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, so
yeah.
absolutely.
So.
Is
I
the,
guess I would also, I said this earlier, added points for being here. I'm
with
sorry.
this application, you're also asking for a shed?
The shed is I don't want anyone to open it. They have to wear masks. If whoever I have tear it down. There's insulation in there. It's completely rotted. It's an eyesore as well as a safety hazard as far as I'm concerned with little kids. Because that door you can just open and break in it. I want it to look nice. Our place is small back there, which is why we want to remove the walls so that people can get through there as far as with the wheelchairs and maybe a possible future business that I'm planning. But as far as the shed, we do need a storage space. All my Christmas decorations and all my Halloween decorations and shovels and mop, everything is cramped
So
inside that small space.
I'm assuming, but. I don't wanna assume that this shed can be placed back there legally
That
through.
was where I was gonna go.
The
I
city.
don't wanna be that guy, but.
10 foot,
It's
10 foot.
13 feet away from the sidewalk. It needed to be 10. And Mary put that shed on there. And she already did all the specs and everything else. And we did go through whether I needed a permit or I did need a permit. I'm just replacing what's there.
Okay, so as far as from the city,
Yeah.
it's legal to put it
Yes,
back.
correct.
Okay,
And you're putting
all
the
our
same
fields.
size shed?
Yes,
says 8 by 8 here.
yes, theirs is a 7.5, what did you measure? 7.5 by 8 or 7.5 by 6 by 8 or something. It's a little awkward, but it's 8 by 8, yeah. And I think that she used it, they categorized that as a, water pump shed. Because she did have the old water pump in there, now it's inside the salon.
Hmm.
So there's not really, the floor is kind of plumbed through and everything else, so, I just want that removed and use a shed to make it look nice as well as, storage for upkeep and maintenance on our salon.
So if you do the shed and the cheapest bid that you got for the concrete, the 595488 is what that total would be, and then our money would be 416842.
So 4168.42 for Giampas, 665 for reform. 4550 for Leonard. I wrote that down, but I didn't do the math. Is that what we came up with?
4550.
I'm not leaving anyone out on purpose if I.
You have Budnick and you have Lemons. I think of the other two.
Yeah, just got Leonard, but.
Oh, you have Leonard, yeah,
Just,
sorry.
yeah.
And
Right.
Jen,
Jen, yeah.
And so can you tell us what the $7,215 project budget is? If that's just for 2 doors on Budnick's?
I'm applying for the grant to replace both front doors, 106 and 108, Front Street building.
How many quotes do we have there?
Like two.
Base coat was, that bid was 7215. I think he's putting in a door like going into you guys' building. So it's not gonna be a steel door, it's gonna be a glass door with a frame such as with panic bar on.
And it would be for his office and then for the asphalt. Asphalt.
So these are,
The other one was 8150 quote.
and these are, each quote has both doors, it's not one for one.
Yep,
Okay.
remove 2 doors front, yep. Bronze, it's a bronze color. Just those 2. I see. 71 or 7215, 7215. Those are the same number quote. Yeah, that was $8,000.
Okay, so. That would pretty much take up the 15,000 we have budgeted if we just worked off of. Oh, plus 20,000 if we added Jen. I think that like the hardware. This is facade painting, this is like painting the building, right?
Yes,
It's kind of
I-
right there, everybody sees it, like if it starts to. If it goes, you know, a couple years with like needing to be done and not being done, remember what it looked like before they did it last? And everything was falling off it, and the stucco was coming off, and
well, you can take the other gals, Tiffany's down there, and look at what that looks like now. after
No,
She painted it.
right.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking, that's just
I
such
mean,
a
that's the other
huge
corner,
spot.
but
Right, everyone stops, everyone looks, we might have a sign, we might have a parking lot. Like, I do see as far as what you're gonna get out of your investment at Leonard being definitely worthwhile. Obviously Dawn's she services a lot of people and making it easier for people to get safer, easier, makes a ton of sense. Not $665 to redo a door at Reform, that kind of seems like a no-brainer. Budnick's, I mean, Budnick's done a really nice job in his building, so I don't see
Why not
any
have
reason
nice
to
one?
like think that isn't just gonna be another improvement. That's pretty much the whole budget, right? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the
Yeah,
budget,
that's
so,
14,833.42 with the ones that you just mentioned.
so then,
Good. got down to a deciding factor between small things and
Small things and
fun. So we do Dawn's, we do Tiffany's, we do Leonard's. I don't read, I took out because,
Yeah, I think
Mm.
everyone probably
Right,
agrees
yeah.
on that.
right, so then that
And
leaves you with,
Line saying they don't have everything they need anyways.
right, yes, well, that, yeah.
so let's just, we're taking Reed out, we're gonna take Jelnik out.
Yeah, they don't have the required information.
So now you're looking at, can we get some of these out of the way with the motion?
No, we'll just
Okay.
work on the ones, as long as those are out, they're out, we're not even discussing them anymore. But we're out. So you have Jen's, Dawn's, Tiffany's, Aaron's, and Tim's. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
2, 4, 5 left.
Yeah.
And if you did
Can you,
4 and didn't do Jen's,
It's 18,000,
so you're still over,
or no.
No, it was 14.
14, I'm sorry, 14,833,
so you're just under,
just under.
if you don't do Jen.
And Jen's getting that $500,000 grant, isn't she?
Mhm.
So. You gotta remember that.
The other thing that I don't really agree with that, and it's just me, but she can use this $5,000 as her money towards her.
Yeah.
650.
Yes,
Does
So
Matchell
it's-
Maine work the same way too? Can she, if she gets that?
Yeah.
she gets that money back.
I thought so too.
Has to pay for it, and she gets it back, and she can use, yeah.
So she's taken, I don't know how to explain this any other way than what I can get it out of my head. She's taken $650,000 worth of taxpayer money. And she's gonna get another 5,000 if we give it here. And she'll get another 25,000 there.
Well, it's kind of similar to fundraising for the money for your other half of a possible.
Is it
Got it.
fun?
I mean,
It's all coming from the tax.
I get it.
So
You know,
instead of the 650 or 600, whatever it is, now you've moved it to up here and hers has gone down. Where she's literally matched the money with her money. That's what I see.
Well, we look at it too from a business owner standpoint. None of these people likely, whether they do the legwork or whatever, we've been down the road before with like Twilligers that we can't get like totally through the process, but we really like to get them through the process. But sometimes this face forward is just enough to improve something greatly. Like, they don't these people may not necessarily have all of their things together for a grant, or the time, or the people to help, or whatever.
Those businesses or people, even if it's a residential property, are still the ones that are paying that money.
Agreed.
It's not coming from outside, meaning from other taxpayers. It's only coming from our own district.
Mhm.
So whoever's sitting here has paid that money.
Mhm.
We're just merely giving it back. We're deciding on how to give it back to them. Whereas in Jen's case, that money is coming from elsewhere, but it's still coming from you because you're a taxpayer. So it's coming from elsewhere.
I
Just-
agree.
Just
I
something.
The DDA will still get a capture from the taxes that Jen does pay.
That's correct. Any tax that she pays, we will get a capture. Now, we will not get a capture on all of the improvement, correct?
Mhm.
Whatever is taxable.
Correct. But I'm saying, if you take and took that money that is being spent into that building, let's just say it's $1 million. If that taxable revenue was captured, our TIFA account would go up considerably.
I mean, as a business owner that has the same thing Jen has, this is why we've never applied for one of these. So I have the same exact thing on my building. And
Yeah.
that's why we've never taken more money.
Because your taxes are,
Yeah, we only
Yeah.
pay on the building and everyone knows what the building looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Jen is in a completely
Oh.
different situation. The building is a lot more value than the one we bought. It has a roof.
and she's gonna put a lot more
People
money.
didn't live in it. You know, but I mean, that is a huge reason why we've never asked for more. The reason why.
It's up to you guys. I mean, if you wanna put her in, then you're gonna have to, we're gonna go above and beyond, or we're gonna cut someone else out. Or the other theory is that you were to just help each person.
Right, because you could go half for Budnick and half for Jen if you wanted to, right?
If you wanted to.
What are the ramifications of doing the whole $19,000 of the budget?
Well, it'd actually be, yeah, almost 20. Right? It'd take 14,883
Right,
rather than
yeah.
have another 5,000,
Yeah.
so almost 20,000.
I'd rather see her building up and her pay some taxes, whatever it is, and then come back and try to get the money. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Somebody wanna make me a motion on the floor so we can vote on, either we'll vote on the ones you can put those in as 4, or you put them in as 5 and we go that route. If we put them in as 4, we're covered. So if you wanna make a motion to put those in, these ones are, we'll say out. And we vote on those.
How do you want the motion, just by the business name, or do you want and amounts, or how specific do you want this?
By the business name and the amounts, or
Okay.
at least the amounts and addresses, one of the two.
So. I just want to make sure I have them before I start blabbing. I'll make a motion to approve Budnick Insurance Group in the amount of $5,000.
I second it.
I think, we're gonna
You
do
want them all
of
one
them
big
all in
motion?
one big motion.
Or separate?
Let's do them all separate.
I like it
Okay.
too.
And that
Make
way
it
we can just,
easier.
yeah.
Um,
So Aaron, Butnick Insurance Group is for $5,000. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so Butnick is in.
make a motion to approve
Hardwood.
Leonard Hardware in the amount of
Yeah,
four
That's the problem
thousand,
with doing them separate. is
500.
we Get to the end and we missed one, we've already. yeah.
$4,550.
I second.
We have a motion and a second for Leonard Hardware, 4550. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that one's done.
Reform Wellness,
Yep,
make a motion to approve the application for Reform Wellness in the amount of $665.
I second.
we have a motion for. Is it how do you?
It's Reform
Wellness.
Wellness.
There you go. For $665. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Make a motion to approve the application for DG Hair Design in the amount of $4,168.42.
I second.
Okay. Do we have a motion for DG Hair Design 4168.42? Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, these ones, we can either do, we don't need to do anything, they'll lack of a motion and a second, then that. Well, it's up to you if you wanna add small things in, then you can do that by motion. If not, for lack of motion, it will cease to exist. And she can reapply also. Any of them can, again.
Well, I think she's the only one that's a question. I mean, I think that Reed is, we talked about, and I think that you don't,
I'd like to go down and talk to them. I think sidewalk wise, we could afford something else. That improve that, if that's bad. And it's because he's parking over it. But if we could help him with the sidewalk, and he can pour the pad at the same time. Then we're not involved in the pad, we're involved in the sidewalk. To help him. And it would make it better, and he takes care of that property really nice.
Right.
The fence looks good, the property looks good, and it's nice to see that.
What's that?
The one right in front of his house.
From his driveway down.
Yeah.
I mean, I got two more people coming, I can just get four.
Get it going on. And if we, you know what I'm saying, if we say, hey, we can help you, or we'll take care of your sidewalks maybe, but how about you have them pour a pad there where you can park when they replace the sidewalk at the same time. And maybe that'll get his pad down cheaper so he can afford it, and it will improve the sidewalk tremendously there, because that, in these pictures, it's bad, and I went down and looked at it, and it's bad. Take a look at, does anybody have anything else out here in the, no?
No.
Take a look at that wall. It's not much of a wall, but over here across from the bank, the old bank. And then take a look at Richard's sidewalk issue that he wants you to look at over there. At least so we know in our head when we do get another bid or several bids that we can say, okay, I know what we're talking about. And then we can vote on it.
I have some other business.
Why?
But,
Why? Tell me what it is.
all right, so when Paula left, we called the bank and we had her removed from the accounts. And had Randy Craig put in as a signer for the city. Somehow that went into effect for the DDA accounts also.
I see that in my emails by the
Yes.
dozens.
Yes, and so we need you probably have one from Candace from Huntington Bank.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
went down there and signed,
Yeah. Did you sign, the email, it's a DocuSign.
I don't know how to even do it. I
Okay,
have no clue.
okay,
I was gonna ask them if I could come down here and do it. And I'm not so sure, I'm not gonna be on here much longer.
right. Right.
Anyway, so you're gonna need someone else to sign.
But it's, yeah, I mean, once you know how to do it, it's easy enough to do,
Yeah.
right? So you go through the process, you do the DocuSign, and then it'll go to Rosemary, Rosemary will have to do it. And then Gail and Randy and I will all be taken off because we don't want to be on it, right? And you two will be on it. As it was before. We don't know what happened. We know when, we don't know why it happened,
Okay,
so.
so I did see, because I said, I
Yeah.
don't know what I can do.
Right.
Wonder how to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I got no clue.
So you two are the signers for.
Correct.
checks, right? So, and you're who should be. It just got messed up,
Okay. So we gotta figure that out.
right? Mhm.
I'm sure
Yeah,
somebody can talk through it out.
yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else?
If you want, I can give you a brief update. So Music in the Park, Gail, Greg and I met with Angus. He came over from Lansing or Lake Lansing. We talked about a couple of ideas out here. We only met for an hour, so I'm just giving you a brief update. You'll get an invoice. You should be getting one from him. We talked about maybe adding a little pod out back over here on this side over here, so that we can have a little area for a few parking, whether it be handicap or it be some extra parking and for our food trucks, so they're not having to come across the road. So And then also a screen protector. And that would help with the shade, so that they're not getting as much sun down there. So we're hoping that the trees will grow. Obviously, they're still in process. So once they start blooming more, then yeah, actually that will help with the shade. But as of right now, this is something that we can put up there temporary to help. So that is kind of what we are game planning. But if that will help with our parking a little bit up here, that and keeping the food trucks on that side instead of being on this side over here, that would be, it would be much better for that as music in the park. So, and we do have, we're pretty much getting the schedule finalized for music in the park, and also we're working on an open mic series, so. And trying to now bring in some people earlier into music in the park, so.
They would like be the opening act.
Have some, just, and last year we tried it during Summerfest and we had some younger kids come out and did like an open mic thing, and it was great. It brought the people earlier and then they were ready to go to music in the park, so. We're gonna see if this will, it's new for this year. We did end up getting some more sponsors, so. Things started going in a great direction, so
Good,
just to let you know.
Turning away sponsors.
I actually, yeah,
good.
so.
Any help for you?
Just the school card.
Well, that's right. You guys gotta do your scorecard real quick. And then we can get out of here.
Thank you guys very much. That's all everybody, I appreciate you. And this is Jim, by the way. He's also the owner. Yeah, okay.
Thank you all.
You want to end the meeting before you do your
Yep.
scorecards?
We are.
All right. Adjourn.
7:35. 33.